calling Kenny Price.
James,
What's going on, man?
there, how you doing? Let me get the video on.
All right, no problem.
There, James, hold on. Let me shut this window. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't. Somehow you found me yesterday, watching your. I think it was those videos you posted, and I got started on your book, and I've just got to say, how can I best help to keep this momentum inside of you going? I I sometimes I've told two people already, and this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing happening. You're 23 years old, and you're coming out with material that men, you also, and you know this, but I'll just feed this right back to you. You know, some people have spent 30 years in an ashram to develop some of the stuff that you're coming up that you're just putting out for the world right now. I don't know how else to put this into words, but keep going.
Dude, I'm feeling it. This new moon has, I don't even feel physical right now. Like I feel like I'm very expansive. Like this whole month of July, I felt like more physical and more human than I had felt most of my life. I felt very sickly and my appetite was messed up. And here comes this blue moon, and I'm feeling it. I feel like I'm invincible again.
I know, and I'm half. I don't know how far I am in your book, and I've gone through. You see, this is kind of like what I do for a hobby. Is I go into I call it conscious research. It's my, everyone's going to have a different avenue of awakening. Mine's coming, through a lot of researching and dot connecting, and so I'm going through all the material that you're putting out there right now, and I gotta just give you a thumbs up for this stuff,
Thanks, man.
But what you're doing is you're just posting your raw experience, and I tell you that's what I try to put this. I put this down on that instant message on Facebook as best I can, but it really needs to a one-on-one like this to just convey. That's how the most powerful teachers are coming out right now. Just because you come from you're from California, so I kind of get the whole generational thing, but I guess they call them indigos now. And it's just the new energy. You just gotta like this, you already know all this.
Yeah, I don't even know what I am. I was told I was a crystal, but then again, I think I'm a starseed. So
I know these concept categories gotta put on some sort of box.
I even made a video where I was like, for all I know, I'm a crystal indigo rainbow. I don't know what I am. I've tried not to conceptualize it too much. Just like my book, I've tried to let go of concepts because when you start going out and just telling people like, oh, I'm a ultraviolet indigo starseed, you start just sounding full of yourself. So.
No, but those of us, this is just it. You see, tonight that's what I tried to put in the email is there really is no precedent for you. I mean, you can't go to a mentor who's what was it like when you woke up at 23rd and you're creating the own precedent? Is that the right word? Trailblazer, way shower,
pioneer.
That works for me too. So it kind of it really ups the bar. It's like, wouldn't you like to come to my generation and have us show you the way?
The thing is the older generation still thinks that they're going to school us. Like
I know, and this is why maybe I wanted to be some of service to you because you know this, all of in your generation, you really know this, and those like myself who came in with the same energy you did.
Let me ask: were you aware that you were different your whole life?
Absolutely, and at the same time, of course, absolutely. Because the first wave, you see, also understand I was born in '67. You got to understand the viscosity of the energetic viscosity of the '70s and '80s, and what they did for us is they mainstreamed us, and they drilled it out of us. They can't drill it out of us, but you also have to understand. You see, think of it like this. Think of it like okay, you're aware with history like World War II. and the Nazis invaded France, and the French were getting pummeled. And try and picture it as if that had gone on for maybe 20 or 30 years before the D-Day Normandy landing arrived to liberate the French. And you know what it was like when the Allies landed on the beaches of Normandy. The French were just like, "You've rescued us. We to help us with the next wave, the next wave."
Yeah.
But you also understand that for, like, if that would have gone on for 20 or 30 years, a lot of those French would have given up. And I'm just trying to paint a picture for you of the men who came in with your energy, or people. Anyway. A lot of us gave up. In if we didn't commit suicide, a lot of us got, drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
We could do so. Those of us who stuck it out, to see you come through. I got to talk to this guy. It's like I put into that message. It's like relief. You guys are going to start taking up some of this energetic slack, which, and it's not. It's easy. It's even simple, but it's even more complex than that. You guys are helping waken us. You guys are pushing us over, getting us the final hurdle over the mountaintop is what you guys are doing. And I say you guys because you're attracting others.
There's a lot of those like me. I knew that when I came into this, that like once it clicked, I knew I had all of these gifts that I had with like music, and I had a very left brain knowledge of like very oh my gosh, my cat is on the table. I had a lot of left brain book knowledge. I came in here very analytical, not spiritual at all. And so that got switched over. So then I had all of this book knowledge, science knowledge that I can put into it, combined with my musical stuff. So I was just like, I feel like I could hype up my youth age. And I was just like, once I started feeling the 5D energy and I started being able to process things like instantaneously, I really saw my whole life plan, and I saw that I pretty much knew what was going on the whole time, but I didn't know. Like, I didn't know, but like my higher self had known the whole time what was going on, and I was just like, I thought my life was just like shitty as fuck, like shitty as hell. Like I was really bad into drugs, and I didn't know what I was running from. I just knew I felt terrible. I didn't know I was purging all this energy for the collective unconscious. I didn't even know what that meant. And so I was just thinking in my head, like, I'm just weak. Like, I'm a weak person, and I'm weak, and I go to drugs. But now, looking back on it, I'm like, and even this past month, I'm seeing that, like, the way that I've been feeling wasn't even my own emotions at times. I was purging a lot of stuff. And so it's like, I used to take the blame for it as, like, me being weak. And really, it was like, I was just along for the ride that I had agreed to before this life, and I didn't even know that I had agreed to it.
A couple of things come to mind, with your beautiful and eloquent description. You paint a picture. Is number one is pleasant surprise. It's a very pleasant surprise. And number two is you wake me up. I just say that you're waking this man up. You see, just because you surrendered into this, you allowed it, it's coming out, and it's permission. It's the way this thing is gonna it's the way this thing is snowballing, and for those of us who just like for us it was just like trudging for decades almost, just trudge. I mean, I totally get the drug and alcohol thing, and finally to see. To see these, and what you're doing on the internet, it just comes naturally to your generation. Just social media. Keep going. I'm, and I'm. Not only are all the ETs just got all these microscopes, but what's gonna, we gotta watch this one. I'm watching it too. I want to see what's gonna happen.
Dude, it's about to go down like the next couple months. Have you looked into the gamma rays and all that, the new energy, the photon belt?
Yeah, and you one of yours, I don't remember if it was a video or it was one of your writings, but it was a question and answer. A girl come in and she was just getting pummeled, blasted with the and that was really helpful too. I know what that's like. Mine's it's bringing up everything that there's no stone left unturned. It's purging it all up, and wow, and the other thing I wanted to mention to you is that's why I appreciate. I'm glad you've taken the time out to do the Skype conferences. I know I'm hearing mom and dad, oh, get a job, but we can't. Not just we gotta be on this holding pattern. All this this societal go out there and get a job is it's I don't know how to put this into words, but I think you're hearing me.
Yeah, and it was like, even when I first started waking up, I was like, I became so focused on being conscious about everything I was doing that I saw that I was, when I was not at work, because this is after my awakening, I was like, okay, I need to take an honest look at my life and see what I'm keeping and see what I'm getting rid of, because I'm gonna start letting some stuff go, and I don't know, I'll go live in a tent, I don't know what I gotta do, but something's gonna happen. And then when I would be in my creative flow, my 5D flow, writing and doing whatever I was doing, creating, doing music. And then I would go to work. And when I was at work, it was as if like my reality purposely made my work as shitty as possible during that time. And when I would leave work, I had like flu-like symptoms. And I was like so overwhelmed. I was depressed. It would bring back like my suicidal depression. And it was just like, I was like, how could I have been like in my highest excitement, highest joy, go to work for like 4 hours at a not that crazy of a job. I was making smoothies, and then come home like so depressed, I'm sobbing. I'm literally picking up vibrationally. It has nothing to do with the job. It has to do with the vibration that I'm not holding anymore. Like, and I realized all the jobs that I had at the time, I had set up while being in a vibration that was really messed up and very codependent and very addictive. And so I saw all of my jobs I had as a reflection of my echo of my old life. And so I had to let it all go. And this whole month of July, it seemed as if I was gonna have to go back and get a job, because I felt debilitated this whole month. Like I felt like I wasn't even posting that much. It was just that these last couple of days when it was getting really bad that I realized, you're not just being lazy. Like, again, I thought I was just being lazy again, getting back into laziness. But I was like, no, this is a purging happening, and it's just a lot more intense than I had expected it to be. I thought I was overall the intense purging, but apparently not.
Yeah, and I'm tracking with everything you're saying. I'm trying to remember. There were two thoughts that came to mind. Just have to go with the flow. Oh, the one thing is that's the description I caught up on is I have background in construction, so I consider like a check valve. A check valve means water can only go one way, and it's like passing the point of no return. It's like something I hear people say, well, what if I'm not going to ascend, or what if the universe hasn't chosen me? And there's no reason to worry, because if you don't jump on this bandwagon, the universe is just going to drag you along behind anyway. So you might as well just accept it.
Yeah, if you're not going to go willingly, you're going to go kicking and screaming. So it's totally up to you.
Yeah. You see, there's a lot to be said. I'm trying to compartmentalize the thoughts that are going through my mind. And I don't know if I can right now. I think more than anything, if I can just provide you with permission slip, I know, I kind of get the sense that it's I don't know, James, because you know what, I'm 48 and I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. You're actually in a better place than I am in many ways, because I've got about 30 years of karma. That means I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to channel into some of these entities. I don't know if I'm just meant to get my vibration that high. I don't know.
Well, the thing is channeling isn't really for everybody. Like, if you're not interested in it, if it doesn't seem exciting for you, then it's not really your path.
At the same time, I also know that there's my time on this earth has actually I've created quite a bit of karma as well, and I'm
But you need time in order to have karma. So if you're really gonna want to move into the 5D, you're gonna have to realize that there's no time, there is no karma.
That's what's interesting, James. I just very recently woke up, and it was all mine was just a small window into the now, it changed everything. And that's why it was mine was it was 25 years of searching and seeking, and to get that one small window, but that was not that window was not small by any means. To just discover for the first time. I'd read about the now. You could read about it and research, but until I realized that all the things that you said in your videos, that I've created. I've really created everything, including all my own suffering. But I know my place is working with some is most likely the 23-year-olds. You guys are showing us the way. But at the same time, there's a place for some of the older generation, because this is going to frighten. It's really frightening for others when the illusion begins to disassemble. There's I think it's going to be very frightening for me. I know how frightening it was for me.
And
but you guys are going to create something new. You guys are creating our prototype. You know that.
Well, yeah, we apparently, we don't, a lot of us don't realize this, especially the babies that are coming in now, but even us, we came in with blueprints in our DNA to come in and to push a new imagination into the creative consciousness of the earth. And it's because we're so sensitive that all we wanted to do was to be like our own reflections here, thinking that we needed to be. And in doing that, we didn't realize that we were learning on purpose, but we didn't realize that we were causing our own suffering and stuff like that by trying to be like and keep up with other people. But once we had to generate this amount of suffering in me, where I was ready to take myself out. We had to generate that suffering for me to die to everything that wanted what this world had. Because to have somebody that's so okay with like dropping everything, including like bank account, and just like lose, or not, like, it's not that I'm against bank accounts, but I left my job, so my bank account went negative. So like to have somebody that's that ready to let go, you need to go through some real tough suffering to be at that level. Because some people go through some really hardships in their life and they still can't let go of all the stuff they're holding on to. So it's like, I feel like we at this level are being, we feel like we're being punished because like we're suffering more than the people that are doing all the 3D stuff. And we're like, what's going on? Like, why am I being punished? We're not being punished. We're being purged ahead of time, so that the way, because we've taken a lot of it and we've learned a lot of it, the new people that are going to be awakening, their awakening will be a lot smoother than ours will be. So at each wave of awakening, it's like the ones you guys, I would say, took the brunt of it. The first wave indigos took on a lot of the shit. But the thing is most of you guys have actually awakened and ascended as a first waver in a parallel experience of Earth. So this time around, you actually weren't interested in doing that. You wanted to actually experience it being more of like sitting back and watching.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I just know, I've countless. I mean, met thousands of others and we. It's kind of like, the first line of D-Day, had to throw in 1,000 men, and most of them got mowed down, by the machine. But that's all right. But the few that made it through, as a collective, they all went as one army. If 999 got mowed down, one of them made it through. And now to turn around and to see, you guys, and at the same time, it's kind of it's everything you say. And you know this too. It is no different for anyone on this planet. Everyone has exactly the same blueprint, and what I mean, yours is just your story now is just beginning. The fall. The dismantling of 3D, or the failure of 3D. I mean, you also know it's going to fail for everyone. 3D is also an illusion. I mean, and so back to my earlier words is what you begin to. Here's what we did is we were trying to battle 3D. We were trying to.
Yeah, you were warriors against it, and so you guys had to take a lot of that fighting energy of literally protesting against stuff, whereas we were more like heart-centered, moving into just like loving everything. Like you guys couldn't, you didn't have the privilege of just loving everything because there was some demons you guys had to fight.
Yeah, and we all, I mean, we all know that. I mean, a lot of us went to war. I mean, and the thing is, we all know the outcome of war, but at the same time, you know, nobody wants to go to war. Everyone knows war is futile, and sometimes war is also essential. That's been the hardest part for us, you know, and now to start to see, you know, you guys are building you built the bridge for us, for everyone.
The rainbow bridge.
You can be called that, you know, but you know that's the reason I wanted to connect with you. I also wanted to meet you in person, because you know, thus far I've watched all of you guys on the internet, and I've watched what, you know. There's another one. Are you familiar with Teal Swan? She's a little bit older. She's in her early 30s. But and I've read about the new wave of indigos, and I when I saw you, I just wanted to meet you and give you this kudos. You know,
Thanks.
Any way I can support it. I don't know if there's any way I can support you. I mean, I'll give you some. You know, I'll post. I know you need some funds, so I can post some of that to you. I posted some already. To
No, that's great. Yeah, me and my fiance are really excited about that.
And I know that's helpful for you. And I can do that. But just to keep going, you know, you know everything already. That's the interesting thing, is there's nothing I can teach you. Like I can just, but I can show you my here. You can hear my voice, see my face, and I can celebrate.
At this stage that I've been at, it was like I feel like I put all my cards out. I throw everything in, knowing I knew that the universe was going to support me, and then I didn't feel very supported. I just felt like it was just like a constant purging and battle, and people mocking and people doubting and people just saying like you're a fool and like all this stuff. And I'm so sensitive, and my whole life I dealt with sensitivity. If somebody made fun of me, I just went and cried. Like I had no fight in me, and I would either cry or become like, or attempt to become very belittling of them. And so like at this point, all I needed was some encouragement, and I needed some encouragement and like kind of like a push to like no, don't give up. Don't just throw your cards out now and go do something else back in 3D. Like, keep going. And that's what I needed, and you helped that, because with, you know, when somebody donates, that's okay. Okay, I can continue for a little bit longer, and that gives me the hope that I have the funds so that I can start making more funds. And I've just finally got the courage to ask for money for my services, because it was so hard to do, because I in my mind, the whole old world was gone when I woke up. So like the old world was gone. So I was like, okay, I want nothing to do with the old world. I don't need money. I just want to help people and walk the streets with no money. But it's not working right now. I gotta have some funds.
I know it's the one thing that come to mind is my great grandfather's. I mean, well, anyway, my grandfather told me the story when he was still alive. He was a pioneer. He came over in a covered wagon to Southern California, and he built the first house in Anaheim and you know, he just staked that claim, and he started tilling the land, and that's how I'm seeing you right now. You know, I think he had about as much to go on as you have to go on right now. It's just a metaphor, but
your metaphors are dope. I love that. I keep telling people the boat one you told me about, them throwing the life preservers. That was such a good metaphor.
Absolutely. You know, these things, you know, this is when this comes into my mind, you know, this is how everything can come into a concept. But that's exactly where you are right now, you know. And you know, anyway, I mean, it went on, you know, he built and built and built, and, you know, he had farmland, you know, by the time he died, he had farmland all over the county, and he was on the what is it, some sort of city council anyway. But it started off the same way you are, just staking the claim and you know, going west. Kind of like, go west, young man. I mean, same metaphor as Lewis and Clark. And, you know, and the sensitivities, you know, you allowed them to, I think that's probably been the hardest part for most of us are the sensitivities.
The idea that I had finally become not selfish. I had finally become like fully loving, and in becoming fully loving, I had more people that would call me cocky and call me selfish than anybody else. Like I had like so many people to come out and tell me how selfish and self-righteous I was, and it was like, it was just the most hurtful thing to be like, all I'm doing is loving people. And I would have people write these long things about how I'm trying to steal people's money and all this stuff, and it was just so hurtful. I would just sob, and I'm like, here I'm awakened, just sobbing and sobbing, because it's like, I'm like, how can I get these people to know that I love them? Like,
and you know, so that's the hardest part. You know, in my role would actually be probably the same generation as your parent, and that's I'm not a parent. And I've never had kids. I've been out of the closet for 30 years. I'm gay.
yeah,
But you know, this would be the hardest part as a parent is to watch their own child go through this, and because the parent knows that the child has to go through this, and I totally get it. You know, by the time you're 48, you know, this stuff will all cycle through. You'll be old hat. It's just this stuff. It just takes years, and you know what happened is they're frightened, and you know this, but all of them are frightened. And in your case, because you're a walk-in. So, you know, it just happened overnight, boom. And for someone so young to have, they didn't know what to do. They're frightened, and I know how painful this must have been for you. I totally get it.
I had so many times just sobbing, like asking the universe, is like, what more can I do? Like, I'm limited right now. I feel so limited in. I had so many times I wanted to delete my Facebook, delete everything, and just like, I wanted to end it. I wanted to fucking get out of here. And I was just like, a week ago I was so excited about everything, but I had so many people stick needles in me that like at some point I had to like tell myself, like, I had to like literally shake myself and say, you are unconditional love and you have no limits. There's nothing that can stop you. I even read that Bible verse where it's like, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, and it's like, love never fails. And I had to remind myself that I was not just, I wasn't this limited human that would stop and be offended, that I would love the people that persecute me, you know? And looking, and it's like, it's just so difficult to connect with people that have a different version of Jesus, but like, Jesus took on even the worst. He came to the earth when it was like really, really messed up. And so like following his words are very powerful, you know what I mean? But it's just hard to talk about Jesus when other people, they think it's blasphemy because I don't... This 3D world that we're in is so crazy. It's fascinating that we invented it, or that the universe invented something this crazy. It's like a freaking freak show in here.
You know, that's what is so perfect about your message is it comes with you know, I don't know how to put this into words, but you're really, maybe that's something I can just also help you with is this is just part of the human experience, is going through these disappointments, and it actually, I mean, there are, I call it Captain Lost. You know, and sometimes I'll spend 3 days in complete Captain Lost. That you know, I feel I cannot be spiritual. I'm nothing. I am so lost right now, and I'm so angry, and I'm projecting everything out.
Yep.
I mean,
like, you know, I don't want to be spiritual. I can't help anybody. I have no advice for anybody right now. I don't know anything.
and at the same time, that's the making of a warrior. This boot camp is to be able to just be in that. But the best part when it happened, mine are like a sine wave. You know, they're actually predictable. The doctors thought I was bipolar, but don't ever go. No, good doctors. No. And you know better than that anyway. But I'm just kind of laughing at that. Anyway, each one of those is more purging, and just, I mean, you already know it. I'm still learning just to be with it.
When I first had my, I guess you could call it, I was thinking I was a walk-in because just the way that it had manifested, where like once it flipped, it was very difficult for me to even connect with my old life, like connect with the old emotions. And I feel like now that I've been progressing, I'm more accustomed to the energy. Now I've been able to actually connect a lot more with the hurt me in the past and all of that stuff like that. It's coming back a little bit. But when this first all happened, what I knew myself to be when I had awakened was I was a dimensional translator. I come here to translate huge timelines and bring them together, specifically the Christian faith. And it's not that I want to get... The Christian faith isn't going to go anywhere, because followers of Jesus is perfect. You know, Jesus was a great role model. But just to have them come together for an understanding that we aren't against each other. You know, we all seek the same thing, which is unconditional love, whether we have differences on that. So in my book, I write so much on Jesus and how his message was strictly talking about becoming the I am in the present moment, and knowing that, you know, we were him and he was us.
Yeah. You know, if he had stuck around for another, 30 years, then they would have taken copious notes. I mean, everything happened out perfect, but you know, amazing, just absolutely amazing. The man, and he also, like you already know, the viscosity of 2,000 years ago is still very thick now. But now is the return of Christ, the Christ consciousness.
Yeah, already here. And it's so hard when I to try and convince anybody of that, because they're so desperately waiting for a man named Jesus to come back and save everybody. But when they asked him, about the kingdom of God, he specifically said the kingdom of God is within you, and it's not going to be coming from anywhere. It's just you're gonna have to find it within.
When I wrote you, I think it was this morning or anything, I visualized a canyon. All right, we've got the old side and the new side, and then this bridge. But as I was reading your work, here's what came to me: the old side, which is 99% of the paradigm, is an outside in. It's the cause effect. You've crossed that bridge already, James, inside out, and that is that's the vision that I got. As you were writing your book. You disappeared. I can't see you.
Yeah, no, I'm listening. I was just getting some water. But yes, it was basically that book, because at the time I started writing it, I was still in my echo. I wasn't really fully out of all of my karma or whatever, and so you could see that at that point, I already knew I was going to manifest a completely different life, and I hadn't even done it yet. So it's kind of like the proof is in the pudding, because I was writing it while I was like, I woke up in the dream, and I was like, guess what? I'm dreaming, and now I'm going to go change the dream. And so then the evidence is like, well, I wonder how he's doing now, since this was only 4 days after his awakening. And then you can see my videos now, and it's been a wild ride.
It's actually, I call it re-entry. Because after after an initial awakening, then we, it's like, now what? I don't know. Byron Katie went on to there's two. Byron Katie and Eckhart Tolle, they were both walk-ins. Walk-ins not like, but no, that's trying to put that into a concept, a conceptual plot. It's not like just it gets real complex and sticky, but essentially the new energy just went poof, where the real energy went poof.
You think Eckhart Tolle was a walk-in?
I don't know about him, but I don't know, but when it happens that suddenly,
that is true.
There's something going on with contractual agreement.
Because when you tell people about a walk-in, they instantly feel like you're talking about like a possession, like some demonic possession, or like it just sounds so foreign to people. Even channeling, like trying to talk to people about channeling. There's churches that just focus on how all mediums are Satanists and everything like that, and so it's like there's Bible verses, that the Satan is is really a being of light that's pretending. So like they don't believe us, and they think that we're deceived. And it's like, how could you tell somebody that, like, I don't like it's so difficult. Like there's some people you just can't get through to because. I don't know why they would believe that their God would let us be so deceived that we just take ourselves to hell on accident. That sounds terrible. That's a terrible reality to exist in.
You see, this is what I see happening. That I can also be of service is because those of us who have held this light for 25 years ahead. I mean, we've gone. I hear of all the frustration of those who read the Bible from a 3D perspective, which that's not possible. You cannot read that in the Bible. The Bible has to be. You have to inhale those words and meditate and absorb to. I mean, but what I'm trying to say is I totally get this frustration you're inside of right now. And here's the hardest part of this journey is some people walking away with discernment, dignity, and it's going to be the hardest. This is going to be the hardest part is learning just to silently bow out gracefully. And I'm still working on it at different levels. We're all working on different levels, but it's essential to let them have those beliefs. And you've written all about this already.
Yeah, what I've come to find is that some of them, they need to manifest their own fears of like the demons and the end of the world and hell and all that. They need to manifest their own fears. They're going to manifest their own hell because of their deep. I literally know people that are constantly focusing on the end of the world because they're excited about it, because it's like they're excited that the world's going to end and like everything's going to go to hell because it's going to prove their prophecy that they want to come true to satisfy their belief systems. So in their mind, when I tell them that the world's going to be going to a better place, they find that offensive. Like, they don't want that to happen. They're like, no, it's going to go to darkness and everybody's going to pay. And like they get excited about the idea of people going to hell, and it's saddened to me. That's a terrible view of existence, in my opinion.
I'm trying to paint a picture for you. I was 67, 70s, probably about the early 80s. That was, and I come from. You're in the Los Angeles basin. Where are you?
It's L.A. County.
L.A. County?
Yeah, L.A. County.
I totally get that. Mine was Orange County in the 70s.
So I was in Riverside County when I had my wake up and everything. I was in Riverside County. I'm in L.A. County now because I didn't have a place to live because I ran out of money.
Yeah.
But it's all on purpose. I know.
My family, my culture, my religion was. They used to call it behind the orange curtain. It was. And I left a long time ago. I left about 30 years ago. But the environment was so conservative and so full of fear. I know what you speak. Those who meditated were satanic. I mean, I remember what that was like. So I can hear you real clearly on that. James, I left home when I was 18. I just said I have to walk. And I did. I just left all of that. And still, it just took years to come to grips and to process, and maybe process a psychological word. But what I did, what took me 30 years, is probably going to take you 3 months. It's just that way. And
time is literally speeding up. The refresh rate of existence is speeding up. Like those who are no longer giving in to the 3D mindset, the fear, the jealousy, all of that stuff. Our refresh rate on our bodies is that our cells are regenerating quicker, and to try to tell that to people, it almost sounds like we feel like we're better than people, and it's not that. We've already done all of our 3D stuff, so we've already experienced it all, and by getting out of it, we've discovered more stuff about our existence. Just the fact, this one idea alone that we all chose to incarnate here is so beyond anybody. Like, most people, that's just beyond. Like, what do you mean we chose to come here? Like, no way.
These advanced concepts that you carry with you, that's the hardest part. Is they're not for everyone. Actually for many people they will see, and you already know they're going to see you as the enemy. Listen, if I had a magic wand I could change this, I would in a minute. They nailed my best friend to the cross. That is our boot camp, kiddo. You know what? I'm in the middle of it too. Even at this stage.
I made a video, and it was called like spiritual awakening, involution, and it was after your evolution, your spiritual awakening, you go for an involution and a crucifixion, where you literally you will all of a sudden start encountering people that are really hateful and start mocking you over and over again until you purge out all of your insecurities about people disliking you, and so each awakened being goes through their own crucifixion.
See, I went through my very first one, 67, 77, 87. In the very late 80s, I wasn't even 21 yet when I had my first awakening, and it was very much as you described. But it was something got to do with the harmonic inversion from 1987.
87, yeah.
I got torqued like that. It was very similar to what you described. Now you've got a platform. We've got Skype, you've got books, you've got internet, and so I thought I was crazy. I know, just like you, all these things were coming out of my mouth, in the late 80s. And at the same time, the hardest part on mine was my family thought I had a mental illness. They believed mine was a breakdown, and I was rejected and disowned. I use these words cautiously, but rejected, disowned, and they prayed for me that because Satan had me, and I never was able to get reconciliation. They carried that all the way to the end. It was my hardest part. Hardest part about this are the human emotions.
Yeah.
Sadness and the anger, and so that part just comes with the years. But when I see someone on the right trajectorial path, I gotta get thumbs up. You gotta get you're probably engulfed in some. It's Southern California, so it's all Judeo-Christian.
Yeah, and luckily I grew up in non-denominational Christianity, so even as a Christian, most Christians probably wouldn't have considered me to be very Christian because I had a very open view of it, and it was the nail that hit the nail, the final, I don't know, the final thing that hit the nail on the head, the straw that broke the camel's back, was I could not fathom that these Christians were telling me that everybody was going to go to hell except for the ones in the church. I was like, that's ridiculous. You're telling me that billions of people are going to be burning for eternity because they just so happen to not read this book that you're reading? And once my brain could no longer validate that anymore, I just started looking into the Bible deeply. And I eventually, over the period of time, I prayed and prayed, and I said, God, if the Christianity is the only way, let me know. And over a period of time, it just became more obvious and more obvious and more signs that I needed to look elsewhere. And once I started doing that, I awakened, and I really remembered why I came here and everything.
It's interesting. That's why this has been so helpful for me, James. I'm listening to you, and it's your story, it's my story. We're just plugging in. We got to do this together. Think about it. Think about being. Think about being on the other side of that canyon I described, and how. I don't. Maybe that's not a better way to put it. Think of the rich meaning that your life is going to embody. So much rich meaning.
Sorry, I'm making a salad. I'm hungry.
I think you just said it so eloquently already. I know there's no time. I laugh about that also, but your future is quite bright. And you have no idea what that's going to look like. And
it's gonna be wild. Well, and I know that after the frequency finally fully embodies in September, me and billions of other people will fully be in our light bodies, and from there, I believe we will possess what seems like very fluid connections with higher dimensions. So it's just like, it'll be instantaneous knowledge, information. I'll be able to speak like directly with ascended masters. It'll just be a very fluid connection where now up until September, we're still purging for the collective unconscious. So I'm still going up and down and purging emotions. But after that day, I feel like I'm going to be fully embodied, and I will no longer be very limited in my, in my strength and in my physical, endurance and stuff.
You got it. It's all there. All the material's there. It's almost like don't know. When I was your age, or we used to have to take when our teacher gave us a term assignment for a term paper, we had to put notes on these.
I'm listening.
Cards. And after the research was done, we stacks of these note cards from different sources. And all we had to do was shuffle the note cards and create the outline in the paper. You've already got all the note cards, assembling your outline, so all you need to do is just go through a few more drafts and type it up. That's back when we used to do it by hand. And then turn it in for grading. Grading's not a good metaphor, but neat, keep going. And you see it all with clarity.
If it wasn't for the amount of meaninglessness and pain and suffering I felt in my life, I never would have been so focused in seeking this information.
I know. It's where we didn't. We certainly didn't sign up for Planet Easy.
I still keep asking my higher self why the hell we incarnated here.
That's like asking the universe how did man fall from grace? We're never going to get an answer. I don't.
Well, we chose it for an experiment.
We did, yeah.
We were bored and we wanted to have some crazy shit go down.
Well, guess we got what we asked.
We got more than we bargained for.
Yeah, well, this was it's been quite the ride, but you also know that we're done with 3D. Most of us are just tired. We just want to go home.
Yeah.
And that's, you've got the biblical, background, and mine came as the prodigal son, especially mine. I think about it. I've been out, I've strayed for 30 plus years, but so many of us are just ready to go home right now.
Yeah.
We're exhausted, and all the same questions. Something came to my mind, but anyway, it looks to me like you're cooking dinner, and you know what? I gotta go grab some dinner too. But James, it's been an honor. I'm gonna support you some more on that. Is that the best way? Is that what I did this morning, the $50?
That either that way, PayPal. Either way is perfectly fine. PayPal takes out taxes. I'm not PayPal. I'm sorry. The GoFundMe takes out taxes.
Oh, I don't want to do that. They take out taxes.
Yeah, but it's not that much. But yeah, it's when you do it on PayPal, it's just whatever you send is what I get.
All right, I'm gonna keep supporting you. It may take me longer on PayPal because I got to recover my password. They make me jump through hoops. I'm like you. My story is, get this. When I was your age, I had just graduated from college with a bachelor's degree in finance. Now that is how, to give you a picture of how much indoctrination I had to unravel. You see.
It's funny.
It would be like you going in for finance. I mean, I laugh about it now. My awakening happened that last year in school when I woke up and I just looked at my life like you are, and I said, I went to my advisor and I said, I can't do this. And he said, look, you got a good GPA, just fail the next, just get C's the next year and get a piece of paper. That was back then when they really believed those pieces of paper were. Many people still believe those college degrees are important, and I meet them all the time. And you know quite well that in this new earth, it's love is the only commodity that's the only commodity that there's only that's real. You know that.
Yeah,
are part of our. I laugh at mine.
When people talk about like so and so being educated from college and like how great that is, I say that piece of paper is literally proof of how much they've been indoctrinated into the third dimension. So by getting that paper, you're literally saying how certified you are in the illusion.
And the same is also that's what's interesting. That's what some of this stuff just comes with time is on my journey, but before all this, which I don't know what to say. A lot of us sought the answers actually in psychology. And they were so willing to take our money back then, and then they took quite a bit of our money.
For what?
The psychologists did.
Oh yeah.
Because they wanted, they really believed. They weren't bad because they believed in their approach to help us create a better, create a better illusion, to help us just to manage this illusion.
Well, I see it like this: is most most of the work now for people that have psychological disorders, most of the people that have the huge depression and bipolar and all this, they are the star children. They are the new children, and they're about to go through their awakening, but then they end up using the world's method of stopping the awakening by suppressing it with drugs. And so this world is basically like against awakening. And at every corner, they get people when they're vulnerable, when they're depressed, and give them medications that prevent them from having their awakening.
I've started to assemble a book on mine. And often, but actually, a lot of times the book's actually just bringing up more stuff that needs to. My father was born in the late 30s, and my father was actually they don't talk about him because there weren't very many of them, but he was the first one. They actually came in, prior to World War II. This energy came into the planet, and I watched what he went through, and so you got to think about it, generation, he eventually killed himself.
Yeah.
But the daddy stuck it out as long as he did. Well, it was cancer, so it wasn't an intentional suicide. But the cancer finally got him. But for all the insanity of his life, at the very core, I realized that energy. I know firsthand what happens when they suppress and medicate that energy, and you got it. All those that are medicated right now are and stuff. They're the 99 on the first wave that were mowed over by the allies. But it takes 99 to get mowed down before one can make it. It's all it takes is to puncture this. I don't know what you call it. Veils.
Matrix.
Matrix is another good word.
Puncturing the matrix.
But
there's so many awakened people I see that are giving in to all these fears about Nibiru, and all sorts of destruction happening, how we lost this one, and the dark's going to take over. And I'm like, these are awakened people, and they're giving in to all this false information. And what I've come to find is I cannot look to the world around me to see what's going to awaken. I can only look what's awakening within me. That's a preview of where the world's going, so I can only use myself as a measuring tool.
I know. It is so simple, and you got it. There is nothing I can add to this. There is nothing I could even suggest. That would actually
keep motivating those like myself to not give up.
I know. I know, absolutely.
Because you do have something to add, and that's co-creating. Even if it's not adding information or adding teachings, you can help co-create and help inspire,
What's interesting is I realize you guys are so good at the social media, and you're because I've had to document it sometimes, and I don't think it's going to happen, and it's not going to happen right now. But here's just the truth. Just being is anyway. You got it. So I'm going to let you get back to dinner.
Do you mind if I put this conversation up on YouTube?
Oh, did you record it?
I did.
Oh, absolutely. Smart idea. Record it. Get it out there.
I gotta see if my camera got a good angle, but I'm pretty sure it's got. I have my GoPro.
You came up with great stuff, and we've covered a lot of material and do that. And if it gets a lot of hits, let's have another one.
All right, I'm so down. Hey, pleasure talking with you, man. Take care.
Thanks, honors, and keep going.
Much love, man. Take care.
All right, blessings.
And the truth will set you free, my friends.
Beautiful to love, beautiful to trust. Above is like below, and all of it's enough. Beautiful to love, beautiful to trust. Above is like below, and all of it's enough. Heart's in touch with my pen. I know you notice my friends, and I know that you notice that I seem so bogus and dense. But dense is the focus. I hope it's that I've chosen to rent. So my hocus pocus flow, I guess it's pose on the fence. A beating heart.